Nice to meet you. This is Miwhoa from Atomy. Today's topic is the reasons why Atomy works. There are various reasons why Atomy is bound to succeed as a business. Because of these many reasons, a lot of people are running Atomy businesses and many are also finding success. If you can effectively convey the reasons why Atomy works to others, I think it will be a great help to your business. In today's session, we'll carefully examine the reasons why Atomy works and discuss how to communicate them effectively. So, what is the first reason to become an Atomy? Yes, it's the products. It's because the products lead to voluntary repeat purchases that Atomy is successful. It's because the products lead to voluntary repeat purchases that Atomy is successful. For these voluntary repeat purchases to happen, there are several conditions that need to be met. The first is product quality, but it's not enough for the product to just be good. It also needs to have price competitiveness. So the product must excel in both areas. Because there are plenty of products out there that are good but expensive. However, products that are both good and inexpensive are rare. Atomy is called an absolute product because it offers products of absolute quality at absolute prices. Because of these absolute products, many people have become Atomy enthusiasts, and that's how Atomy has been able to grow so much. However, no matter how much of an absolute product it is, if it's a durable good or a luxury or specialty item that you only use occasionally, then such voluntary repeat purchases wouldn't happen repeatedly. But Atomy's Ntonda products are daily necessities that are essential to our lives. Toothpaste, toothbrushes, shampoo, conditioner, detergent, even toilet paper. Because Atomy deals with things that are indispensable in our daily lives. If these products are really good and really cheap, then there's absolutely no reason for people not to use them. However, if it's difficult to purchase these products, then people wouldn't make repeat purchases. But Atomy is an online shopping mall. Anyone can sign up for free membership and purchase products online and then receive the products right away. So there's also the convenience of easy purchasing. Unlike other distribution companies, network marketing offers a 3-month return period. Atomy also has a 3-month return period, and they are very proactive about accepting returns. Another notable point is that since its founding, Atomy has never had a refund rate reach even 1%. The reason people choose Atomy is because of its absolute products, which are Atomy's absolute competitive advantage. As someone who uses Atomy, I am not only a satisfied customer, but also a business owner who can confidently introduce Atomy to others, which is why the Atomy business is bound to succeed. So, the first reason is that Atomy has products that people voluntarily repurchase. The second reason is the unique features of the compensation plan. Let's take a look at our compensation plan. It is structured only with reasons why Atomy is bound to succeed. The first feature of the compensation plan is the 2-line binary structure. You just need to create 2 consumer groups, Group A and Group B, starting from yourself, and Atomy uses the simplest and fastest binary method. The second feature is Global One marketing. Atomy started in Korea and now has established subsidiaries in 26 countries around the world. This number continues to grow. When doing business overseas, it's not conducted separately from Korea, but rather through this Global One marketing, everything is connected within the 2-line binary system. This is another unique feature. That's why our market potential is limitless. So it's not just the people who started early who have a market, even those who start now, or those who start 5 or 10 years from now, will find that this market is truly limitless. In addition, a key feature of Atomy's compensation plan is that it can definitely be called a business. So what does this definitely a business mean? In network marketing, a unique feature is that when a consumer decides to do the business, they can also receive business incentives. Usually, when someone transitions from being a consumer to doing the business, there are all sorts of complicated requirements. But Atomy doesn't have any of those conditions. That's why I say it's definitely a business for everyone. First, what kind of conditions are not required? Usually, if you want to go from being a consumer to a business participant, there's an entry fee where you have to buy a set of the company's products all at once and use them. Atomy doesn't have any such requirement. You can just go from being a consumer to doing the business, that's all. Once you make up your mind, you can start the business. There are absolutely no conditions. Second, aside from the entry fee, in most cases, if you want to receive commissions every month, you are required to make mandatory purchases, command under your name, often called autoship. This is referred to as a monthly maintenance fee, but Atomy doesn't have this either. Of course, since I'm running the business, I do make purchases from Atomy every month. For example, I run out of shampoo. I also run out of hair oil. And I need to buy things like tissue and water as well. I do make purchases every month, but there's no requirement to buy under my name. Since I can just buy the products I need when I need them, this is different from a monthly maintenance fee. That's why Atomy doesn't have a monthly maintenance fee. Also, third, there is no referral commission. This referral commission refers to the incentive you receive as a portion of the entry fee paid by the person you referred when they make a bulk purchase to join. Atomy doesn't have any entry fees, so naturally there are no referral commissions either. And whether you sign someone up or someone else does, it is recognized 100% the same, which is also an incredible competitive advantage. So, do you understand Atomy's unconditional business model? First, there is no entry fee. There is no monthly maintenance fee. There is no referral commission. This is the reason why Atomy works, because anyone can start this business. Of course, this can also be a downside, since there is no initial entry fee and you can start easily. Without any burden, it also means people can quit just as easily. However, even so, there's no risk of suffering any loss. And the person you recommended the Atomy business to might not continue with it until the end. Nevertheless, the fact that it doesn't cause harm or burden to anyone is what makes Atomy's absolute competitive edge. Also, because there's no pressure when recommending it to someone, you can share it with many people. This too can be a very important reason why Atomy works. Now, it's definitely a business. And third, it has the characteristic of balanced distribution. What this means is that Atomy has a huge number of consumers. Among them, only a small portion actually run the business. Even consumers can receive commissions. I mentioned that consumers and business members are treated exactly the same. Atomy doesn't give more to business members and less to consumers. There's no such thing. In order for me to receive commissions, I need at least 300,000 PV each from my left and right sides to qualify for the first commission. There's no set time period in which you have to reach this 300,000 PV. It accumulates infinitely until you reach it. If you don't make it within a month, it's not like it resets to zero or disappears. There's nothing like that. If you don't make it this month, it carries over to next month. If not next month, then the month after that. If not this year, then next year. That's because consumers don't switch all their products at once. People try out toothpaste and toothbrushes first, then maybe switch their shampoo, gradually increasing one product at a time. This 300,000 PV isn't a huge amount, but it can take a long time to reach that 300,000 PV. But the company waits until you reach it and eventually pays you the commission. This is why the compensation structure is set up to distribute commissions even to consumers. A great number of consumers are receiving commissions. It has the characteristic of recognizing people in my two-line binary structure to unlimited levels. Whether I registered them myself or someone else did, everyone is included and shared in the structure. Usually in the two-line binary system, recognition is often limited by levels, such as 10, 20, or 30 levels. There are various features like setting different percentages for each level. In Atomy, whether it's my first level, 100th, 1000th, or even 10,000th level, and regardless of whether I registered them or someone else did, all levels are recognized infinitely. And it has the characteristic that everything within those infinite levels is shared by everyone. Even if 100,000 PV comes up from the 100,000th level, it is shared by everyone. Now, you might be wondering about something here, right? You might think, wouldn't that cause a negative margin? Is Atomy doing business by digging up dirt or something? You might have those kinds of thoughts. I thought the same way too. But if you take a closer look at Atomy's compensation plan, you'll see that, despite all this, it's structured so that negative margins don't occur. It would be good for you to study and learn more about the compensation plan. Another reason there are no such issues is because there is a ceiling in place. Now, those who started the business early would naturally build their membership faster. And by building their membership more quickly, they receive more commissions. However, the commissions do not increase infinitely in proportion to the growth of your membership. Once you reach a certain ceiling, you continue to receive the maximum amount set by that ceiling. So in Atomy, those who started earlier simply reach the top and wait there. They keep receiving that money while they continue to wait. Those who start later gradually work their way up and eventually meet at the top, and then again at the top. Everyone ultimately meets at the top. If only the people who started early kept receiving commissions. Legitimate network marketing companies are required to distribute commissions within 35%. This pie is fixed, so if someone takes a lot, then someone else inevitably has to take less. However, in Atomy, there is a cap for early business owners, which means the company maintains a balanced distribution that protects those who start later. So in Atomy, whether you have ability or not, as long as you don't give up, anyone can succeed. And whether you started early or late, in the end, everyone meets at the cap. This is one of the reasons why Atomy works. They allow unlimited accumulation and recognize unlimited levels. How could it not work? Now, once you understand the features of Atomy's compensation plan, you'll really think, wow, this is amazing. And you'll realize that there's really no way Atomy can't succeed. Since Atomy's products are so good, once you try them, you'll think, oh, Atomy is easy. Atomy is really fun too. There are many people who start easily with that mindset. For those doing the Atomy business, I really hope you thoroughly study the compensation plan. The more you learn about the compensation plan, the more you'll see that Atomy is truly designed to succeed. Now, we've examined in detail the reasons why Atomy works. If I were to sum up what I've explained point by point in a sentence, it would be this. With just 2 lines, regardless of any conditions, whether you or someone else registered the member, it is recognized globally with unlimited levels. So, success is inevitable. Simple, right? All right. Shall we try repeating it together? With just 2 lines, regardless of any conditions, whether you or someone else registered the member, thanks to Global One Marketing, it is recognized with unlimited levels. So success is inevitable. There's no way it can't work. That's what it is. However, not everyone who starts the Atomy business ends up succeeding. Why is that? Because it absolutely takes time for the organization to form and for the membership to be established. There may be a time lag, but there is no error. However, many people quit because they can't endure this time lag. So I sincerely ask you, never, ever, ever give up. And I hope you see it through to the end. Now, take a look. Atomy only has 2 lines, but it recognizes infinite levels. Even if someone else registered them or I did, as long as they're within my genealogy, they're all considered my transactions. So if I keep spreading the word consistently, won't there eventually be someone who is much more passionate and much more capable than I am, or even someone who isn't from our country? Wouldn't that happen? Yes. The fastest way to make that happen sooner is for me to work even harder at spreading the word. Now that you've chosen Atomy, never give up and keep working on your Atomy business until the end. I hope we can all meet at the top. All right, that concludes today's lecture. Thank you.